Good day, good night. Welcome to Woodworkx Express live at Stade Saputo, as you can see. And the Montreal Impact lost 5-3 to the LAFC, Bob Bradley's expansion team. First of all, I have to say, can we start with a bit of positive for Montreal, Tristan?
It's Nacho Piatti once again, proving that he is the Lord and Savior in Montreal. I don't think there's any sport right now in Montreal. I don't think there's as good an athlete as Nacho Piatti.
No, well, obviously not in football and hockey because our teams are terrible.
No.
They're not that great in soccer, but 5-3 today, 3 goals for Nacho Piatti. Could have been 4 or 5 goals if he would have been lucky or foul called on him. He could have had like 2 penalties for Piatti, but we're not going to digress on the refereeing right now. I want to talk about the first half of Montreal. Well, the first 30 minutes for Montreal. And I have to say I was impressed in a few things, Tristan. I was impressed with the possession play Montreal were doing. I even tweeted, oh, it was a goal for FC Oh no, for Montreal. I'm making an FC Barcelona joke just because triangles, passing lanes, possession. In the first 30 minutes, I saw a Montreal playing with the ball with a certain amount of confidence that wasn't there, or usually isn't there, but that changed really quickly once Victor Cabrera got a red card.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. At first, when I saw that Ignacio Piatti was starting at forward and they were going to have Silva playing where he usually plays, I was hesitant. I didn't think that it was going to be the right choice for Rémi Garde, but he proved me wrong. He really did. The combination between Piet, Silva, and Taider seems to be a really, really good combination here in this windy Stade Saputo. But he proved me wrong. He really did, Rémi Garde. And once again, the pass it to Nacho Piatti, the thing works. It still works. It will. I don't know. At some point, they'll have to get it. That Piatti's gonna have the ball and he's gonna score. Other teams will get it at some point. But as you said, the possession play and the effectiveness of that 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, depending on how you see things. I prefer to say 3-5-2.
Yeah.
Seems to work out. It seems to work out, but
But
that
cards.
red card changed completely everything.
And we haven't had a chance to dissect the red card play. So, in my friend's show and on Soccer Today later this week, we will break down a bit that play, see if it was warranted or not. There was other play in this game that could have gone either way. And there was one question I was asked to Rémi Garde after the game: is Rémi Garde, coach, when you're seeing really close plays like this that can go either way, and they never go your way, how do you feel? And his answer was, well, the only thing I'm going to say about the refereeing is all those calls didn't go our way so far since I've been here, since March 3rd, 2015, to March 4th, 2018.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, they did get a penalty. The Impact did, but LAFC got two.
Yeah.
So,
And Evan Bush almost stopped both. He stopped the first one and he got a hand on the second one, but the ball was hit with too much force and continues his journey into the back of the net.
It's one of those things, and it's an intriguing thing, Kevin, where the Impact concedes 5 goals, and yet I do want to give credit to Evan Bush. It's
One goal was his fault, and that was the goal, the ball at the far post, that curler shot. But the other goals were not his fault.
But let's face it, if he stops that penalty, it's still manageable, and if he doesn't stop the first one,
Done.
the game's over.
Game's over, yeah.
So you gotta give him credit, which I feel like the credit goes to Joel Batz, the goalkeeper coach, before Evan Bush. But Evan Bush is the guy making the saves.
Well, Evan Bush does feel there's people breathing down its neck. There's Clément Diop there, and if you looked in the warm-up today, Clément Diop worked a little bit more with the first team than usually. So it's like small messages sent to Evan Bush. Competition. There's a competitiveness now with the Impact, with the goalkeeper job. Yes, Evan has goal every single game so far, but that could change if his performances are subpar. Rémi Garde, the coach of the Montreal Impact, mentioned tonight that there was one goal that was Evan's fault, but the rest weren't. The 3 goals by Piatti, 1 penalty, 2 great goals. I have to say, could have been even better. Daniel Levitz could have scored the first goal for Montreal on a amazing play by Safir Taider. And I have to say, Taider has played great today in a way that is a bit in the shadows, not finishing plays, but creating space, creating momentum. And I'm talking about the first 30 minutes here, because after it was basically defending for their lives. Outside of maybe 10 minutes of the first half and a 5-6 minute spell in the middle of the second half where Montreal had a few chances, actually scored Piatti's third goal. But when you're looking at the other opportunities they missed, you did have a chance that Montreal were defending for their lives. But in the first 30 something minute, Tider found passing lanes, was able to control with the possession play we're talking about, and finding Lovis on a great cross, but unfortunately Daniel Lovis was a bit offside.
Yeah, it was encouraging. There were two plays like this where you kind of saw it was almost like a cross pass, but from the middle towards the flank. You saw Tidar do it on the offside, on the goal that was called offside, but you also saw it from Silva towards, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Piatti, but I'm not quite sure. But those types of plays tend to be they tend to bring, and you feel like there could be a sort of effectiveness going from that type of play, which is not something we've seen before.
No, it's not, but it was really shocking. And again, we're going to go back to the possession of the first 30 minutes, but it was really a progression in what we have seen under Rémi Garde. And yes, it's another defeat. It's the 5th defeat for Montreal this season, 2 wins, 5 defeats, but there is some progression. And one thing I saw on Twitter, Mathieu Laramée, you'll recognize yourself, you were talking about how when you're trying to change a philosophy and trying to rebuild, well, you got to trust the process. And I have a feeling, even if we're not in Philadelphia, we kind of have to trust the process in Montreal too, Tristan.
Trust the process, but who's Joel Embiid? I guess it's Nacho Piatti.
I don't know, Ben Simmons maybe?
Ben Simmons? But anyways, I feel like, yeah, there's a bit of trust the process in there, but there's also a bit of will that process lead to something? I don't know if you catch my drift here, but there's that question mark where you see something going right for 20, 25 minutes, 45 minutes in this case, and at some point, like, something happens and they collapse, which, like, God.
Yeah, the last point I want to make before we wrap things up for today, Tristan, is the last 2 games, Montreal did not play as well in the second half as the first half. Yes, today there's a red card, but let's forget about the red card for a second. Coach mentioned late in the game there was a collapse today too. And he doesn't even know if it's mental or physical. Yes, we've seen this week a training about 30 minutes. The Impact players were just running around the pitch back indoors, and then the journalists left, and there was an actual training later on. So without people knowing, there's actually a few closed training for Montreal over the last few weeks. So that happened, yes. And so that's why when we see things on the pitch on Saturdays that we're not used to seeing, like, well, they must have found time to work on them because, well, they didn't work on them when we were there. But
it's the European way, Kevin.
I guess, right?
Like, there's a lot of secrecy.
Closed door practice.
There's a lot of closed door practices in Europe. We have a European coaching staff. It's not a surprising thing. We're gonna have to get used to it. Judging by what the Impact have been saying, Gal is there for the long run, so we're gonna have to get used to it.
But the collapse over the last 2 games. Last week, there was 3 goals scored by New York Red Bulls in the second half. This week, there was 4. And over the last 3 games, that's 12 goals conceded for Montreal. Are the collapses mental or physical, in your opinion?
Oh man, that is a tough one. I think it's mental because of the fact that the Impact aren't on a winning stretch. They're not, as much as you'd like to think that they're on a winning stretch. They're not. they're just not. I mean, that's the thing, right? When you keep on winning, there's just like luck seems to be on your way. And when you don't win, you tend to see the different patterns and different things that are just like not going your way, and you tend to recognize them and say, well, okay, it just happened again. It's basic for every team in every sport. But I mean, you're just gonna have to live with it. You're just gonna have to live with it until that tiny bit of luck, that tiny bit of something disappears.
A break. Montreal will catch a break eventually this season. On my friend show, I talked about the next 5 games. There's 2 opportunities of win for sure that Montreal has to take advantage of, and it's against Eastern Conference teams against at home. Today was It's still not that bad because it's an outside of conference opponent, and no direct opponents from Montreal got points with this game. So if Montreal gets 6 points out of the next 4 games, they're going to find themselves about 7, 8, close enough to still battle for that sixth position, even though we're still early in the season. So hopefully, in the next few weeks, Montreal does get those 2 victories in the next 4 matches. But until then, you can follow Tristan on Twitter at Tristan Damo and myself at Kev Laramée and our at Soccer Today SPN to make sure you never miss a live show Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. on the Sports Podcast Network. Have a great soccer.